Hello and welcome to The Point After. I'm Nate Wimberly, joined by Jorge Andres. This is the final weekend of the regular season for college basketball, and in the ACC, it comes down to North Carolina at Duke, round 2, a battle for the regular season title. Here are the standings. North Carolina already has a share of the title. A win would give them the outright championship. A victory for Duke will give them a share of the title. The ACC tournament starts next weekend, and 2 double byes are still on the line with Virginia, Clemson, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, and possibly Wake Forest all still in play. Here are the big games tomorrow. The key ones are the final 3 at the bottom. Clemson at Wake Forest, NC State at Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech at Virginia. Man, somebody has got to get these double byes, and the winners tomorrow will be in line to get those double byes.
Listen, Virginia, you can say that it's there for the picking, but that's so easy to say that it's there for Virginia because Georgia Tech has surprised. Virginia just needs to score some points.
That's the problem.
That's it.
That's
score
the problem.
Some points and get it done. And then we've talked about it in the last episode of The Point After. We've mentioned it. I really see Pittsburgh emerging. I think Pittsburgh's starting to emerge late in the year, right when you want to go into that conference tournament. And then, obviously, all eyes will be on a monster matchup before the red light turned on. And we started talking about it. I said, hey, Duke, North Carolina, you mentioned it, Cameron Indoor, that environment, that ruckus, tiny environment. It may be tiny, but it's got the pack and the power that is a Madison Square Garden, if you will.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Look, I'll tell you what, when we're talking ACC basketball, we got to talk to the experts, and we really got to focus on monster matchups. For more now on the ACC and all things college basketball, we are pleased to be joined by senior college basketball writer for CBS Sports and CBS Sports HQ, Matt Norlander. Matt, for final weekend here. Final weekend of the regular season is upon us, and in the ACC, it all comes down to 7th-ranked UNC and number 9 Duke. That game coming Saturday at 6:30. North Carolina, they were riding high in their first meeting, capitalizing on those turnovers to win round 1. But look, this time around, they're facing a Duke team that's found a little bit of rhythm. What are you expecting from this matchup?
I expect this to be another great Duke-Carolina game. Couple plot lines going into this. You know, Armando Bacot has previously been involved in a very notable win in that building. 2 years ago, I was there when they ended Coach K's home career with a win at UNC, and Bacot has really been playing well as of late. RJ Davis for UNC is a first-team All-American, but meantime, I will never say Duke is flying under the radar. That is not the case whatsoever. However, Duke has not had as much attention on that program, aside from the court storm thing that took over discourse in national sports media for about 72 hours. Aside from that, Duke has been, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th in line when it comes to teams that have been most discussed this season. And yet you look up, Duke, although it's on the 3 line right now, projects as a 3 seed. I think if Duke was able to win this game and win the ACC tournament, it has an outside slim chance, to be the final 1 seed. If not, it'll have a great shot at a 2. UNC also very much in the mix for a 1 seed. It needs to win at Duke to keep up with Tennessee right now, which is the 4th number 1. I think that Jared McCain has been utterly outstanding, and without Caleb Foster there, another freshman, he's been tremendous and so huge. But as we kind of build the plot lines and the narrative around this game, I would say keep an eye on Jeremy Roach. He is a veteran, a senior. This is a big-time game. He will take on, guarding RJ Davis, and I expect a huge matchup. I would genuinely be shocked if this game is decided on either side by more than 5 points.
Look, you mentioned RJ Davis, and, he comes into this matchup dropping 22 points against the Irish. It's all about guard play, they say, late in the season, and Davis looks to be as good as it gets right now. How would you say his late season trajectory, how it's propelled Carolina, not just for this weekend or the ACC tournament, but also the big dance as a whole? How is that trajectory going to impact the way Carolina ends up?
I think it's the second most important factor on UNC's team. I think Carolina's defense, which has performed at a top 5 level for much, not all, but much of the season. I think the defense is the most important thing for UNC's NCAA tournament chances to make a Final Four run. But number 2 on that list is RJ Davis, and being the commanding lead guard that he has been, showing up, shooting, hitting 3 or 4 triples in a game, and being the energy source and a great playmaker, and one of the best, obviously, in the proud history of that program. RJ Davis has etched his name right there next to Armando Bacot among, UNC greats. And so he needs to continue playing at this level. Elliot Cadeau's improvement has been big. No question about it. Cormac Ryan, a really good defender who's been shooting better and was in the month of February. That's big. Harrison Ingram, he can be a matchup problem. They've got a lot of facets, but to me, the single player whose success most correlates with UNC's chances of making a deep run, it's RJ Davis.
It's going to be a monster matchup, UNC and Duke at 6:30 on a Saturday. Let's move over to the SEC. South Carolina coming off a tough loss to Tennessee after looking like the choppy waters had calmed down a little bit with that win for Florida. That said, how do you see the Gamecocks' chances to make a run heading into the SEC tournament?
I think they're healthy. Now, South Carolina is an interesting one because the program rates as one of the most surprising in the entire country this season. Lamont Paris would be on my short list of the 5 most likely candidates to win National Coach of the Year. But they are in an advantageous position in this way. Big picture, they're not going to be expected to be a noisemaker, win the SEC tournament, maybe not expected to make, a deep NCAA tournament run. They can use that to their advantage because they've been successful this season for the most part when they have been doubted and slighted. Michi Johnson is such a fun player and can really, I've seen him come up in some big moments this season. Paris has done a wonderful job turning this program around. So I like South Carolina as a value pick, to go deep in the SEC tournament. If you told me South Carolina won the SEC tournament, I would not be surprised whatsoever. It doesn't have the flash of Kentucky. It doesn't have the defensive consistency of Tennessee. It doesn't have the offensive firepower of Alabama. It doesn't have the depth of Auburn. I get that. But on the whole, I find South Carolina to be among the 10 to 15 most reliable teams in the country, even with the home loss to Tennessee. And I think Paris will have his team well equipped. I would be surprised if we looked ahead, Jorge, 2 weeks from now and saw that South Carolina, let's call it that they're a 5 seed. They would actually be a surprising victim in a 12/5. I don't think that they're a candidate for that.
Now, you could use South Carolina as an example for this, but lastly, I want to ask you this last question. Give me the one team, maybe it's South Carolina, maybe it's someone else, that everyone is sleeping on heading into the conference tournaments and that people will be looking out for once the big dance rolls around.
I want to give you a team. They're not being slept on in their conference, but I think that this is a viable Final Four dark horse that I think I'm going to give you 2 teams actually real quick. So how about this? Colorado in the Pac-12 to win that tournament, I think is a good dark horse that could actually then go to the Sweet 16. That's a true team that a lot of people aren't talking about that has the talent. They've got a top 5 pick, Cody Williams. Keep an eye on that. But the other team is Illinois. So Illinois is the second best team in the Big Ten. So the Big Ten fans know how good Illinois is. But nationally, I think if Illinois winds up as like a 4 seed or so, it will be the most well-equipped 4 seed, even over the likes of maybe potentially an Alabama, in my opinion, to be able to make a deep run. So Illinois has the defense. Terrence Shannon Jr. has been a top 10 player this season. Marcus Damask, a big-time transfer, has gone for more than 30 a couple times, Jorge. So Illinois is your dark horse right now, but if you want one short of like making a Final Four, if Colorado can get in, keep an eye on them because I think they'll be a dangerous double-digit seed.
Oh, this is when it gets spicy on the hardwood, helping us get everything set. Senior college basketball writer for CBS Sports and undercover indie rock star, my man, Matt Norlander. Matt, next time we break into song when we go to break, yeah?
You got it, Jorge. Thank you so much.
Look, he's spot on I think Colorado, because if they can get in, Cody Williams has been playing really good basketball. That's a big if. If they get in, and then it's all seeding. All seeding. Once the seeding there, then you get the matchup.
Yeah, it is. It's all about matchups in the NCAA tournament. So I'll be the first to admit I don't know much about Colorado basketball or Illinois basketball, so I'm just going to take his word for it. But when those brackets come out, then you start looking like, oh, okay, so what did they do? Do they have good guard play? It's right around the corner. So
the 12-5s, man. That's what I love to look at. The 12-5s.
Any seed right now could upset another seed. So that's what makes this thing so magical of March Madness. it's going to be a good weekend of basketball, to wrap this thing up. Some conference tournaments have already started today. The Big South, and we'll get to a break in a second. The Big South just started. The first seed, High Point, they were down 18-4 in the first half, but they've come back. Radford leads them by 2 at the break. But just like I said, you're the number 1 seed. You're hosting in your brand new arena, first time the tournament's ever been in an arena, you look up, and you're 6 minutes into the game, you're down 18-4.
Don't sleep on Radtown.
So that's what makes this weekend and the rest of this month so special. Some teams are going to get upset, and the season's just going to be over just like that. So this is the fun time of the year.
That's right.
Got to take a break here on the show. When we come back, we will introduce you to the new Executive Vice President for Basketball Operations for the Charlotte Hornets, Jeff Peterson, and tell you how he plans to make this franchise the premier franchise in the NBA. Say what?
Oh, when you hear that music, you know what time it is.
It's finally time to do some dancing.
It's tourney time. Join the fun with WBTV's Hoops 3 contest. Go to WBTV.com and fill out your brackets. Grand prize winner scores a $1,000 voucher from Man Travels. Sponsored by Novant Health, your local Kia dealers, and NC Medicaid for more people.
It's a beautiful day out, Dad. Let's go.
There's another sunny day in the forecast.
Dad, do you want to go for a walk?
High temperature right around. Saturday is a first alert weather day. Several rounds of showers and thunderstorms coming up from the south.
Welcome back to The Point After. Jorge and Nate here with you. Look, at the end of the day, you've seen some new leadership with the Carolina Panthers, Charlotte FC, and yes, the Hornets now, Nate.
Yeah, a new era of Charlotte Hornets basketball started on Wednesday as the Hornets introduced their new Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations, Jeff Peterson. Now, one of the things you're going to notice about Peterson as we get this video up, he is very young. At 35, he becomes the youngest lead front office executive in the NBA. 12 years ago, he graduated from college, so he has had a meteoric rise. Hornets co-chairman Rick Schnall and Gabe Plotkin look at his age as a key to why they made this hire. Peterson's big goal is to turn the Hornets into the premier franchise in the NBA, but Buzz City, it's not going to happen tomorrow.
We just have to continue to stay patient and just know that we're going to not skip steps because our main goal is to have sustainable success, right? We don't want to make the playoffs 1 year and then we're out for another 3 or 4 years. We want this thing to be sustainable and turn into a consistent winner.
Jeff, being only 35 years old, has a long tenure in front of him of great success, and so, you know, he'll be here probably, hopefully, long after I'm not, and that was the goal.
I see the plan,
Yeah.
and I think it's a good plan if Peterson can get this thing rolling really early and really quickly. But I like his experience. Even though he's young, I like his experience in Atlanta. He was there for 4 years. His first year, he was an intern. And then the next year, he was the assistant general manager.
Right.
He just kind of climbed the ladder really quickly there, went to Brooklyn, helped them get that big three with KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. So he's worked with some of the big names in the league. He knows how to bring those kind of guys together. And now it's just a fact of him trying to get those guys here to Charlotte. It's been difficult. Maybe he's the guy that can start to get those kind of brand names and those. I wouldn't even say the big names. You just got to get solid basketball players in here, solid veterans. Because the young the young guys got that covered.
Right.
You got LaMelo, you got Brandon Miller. You got to get some veterans in here that are good basketball players that can kind of galvanize this thing, be the glue of this young puzzle. Put it together, and we can get this thing going.
It's like Big U in Miami. He was that veteran presence that was able to mold to mold those young players. The youth rather is the common thread here because you mentioned those young players. He's 35. You even mentioned it. 12 years ago, he was just graduating college, but 7 times. He's been assistant manager for 7 years. So out of those 12 years, he's done a lot. You mentioned what he did with Brooklyn and the KD stuff, and also, but not just bringing guys together, also facilitating trades when when they got rid of James Harden. You look at scouting, you look at drafting young players. He did that with Cam Thomas. He did that with Nick Claxton. He's a guy I think that has been a rising star for a very long time in the NBA. There's rising stars here and there always. It's who gets the shot and who capitalizes on that shot. The Hornets are hoping that is. The one positive common thread is the youth and the moves that he's been around. We can be hopeful.
Yeah,
we can be hopeful that maybe that's coming here.
Yeah,
with some time.
I think you have to be very positive about what Schnall and Plotkin are doing right now.
Yes.
They're really setting a base foundation, and that's what this franchise, they need a solid foundation. Once you get that foundation, you get the culture and all that good stuff, then you can go up. Right now, they're setting that base foundation with the potential new practice facility across the street and things of that nature. They're getting this franchise ready and equipped for the next version and the next generation of the Charlotte Hornets. And when I say generations, you want to have young people around.
Correct.
That's going to help and going to be a part of that foundation. And hopefully they're going to stay as this thing continues to grow. And whenever you have to have a new iteration, well, you still have that base there of Jeff Peterson to continue to mold that thing and just keep the thing going and thus make it a premier franchise. Because to become a premier franchise, that's decades. They're looking decades. So this is a hire that they're looking towards the future right now and in the future. So I love the hire.
There's two types of franchises. The ones that are almost ready to win, need a piece or two here to get them over the edge. That is not the Hornets.
No.
And then the other type of franchise, the one that you just mentioned, Nate, the one that needs to build from the beginning. And then here, maybe in 5, 7 years, okay, now we'll cook it with some gas. I think that's where we're at. And look, I think people are realistic about it too.
Yeah. I think they're definitely pointing in the right direction. They play at Washington tonight. Washington only has 9 wins. It would be nice for the Hornets to get off of this 5-game losing streak as as Jeff continues to, evaluate. He said he's going to use these next 21 games and to evaluate the players and get his feet wet and learn this roster. So when it comes summertime, when it's time to make some free agency moves and what they need to do to pick in the draft, he's already got a head start. That's another good reason to bring him in at this point in time is to get ready for this summer because, you say 5 to 6 years. We would like to see these guys at least make the playoffs.
Sure.
I know what you're saying.
Well, when I say 5 to 6 years, I'm saying hoisting a trophy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying being competitive. Let's
but
hope they're competitive in 2-3 years.
Absolutely. So I think they're trying to get themselves ready to get to that point to where, hey, we make a first-round series.
Hey,
we win a game.
That's a win.
We almost win a series.
That's a win.
Exactly, and you just slowly building this thing, folks. The Larry O'Brien Trophy ain't coming to Charlotte anytime soon, but you're hoping that your team starts to make those incremental gains to get to the point to where they can get that Larry O'Brien Trophy back or here to Charlotte, not back, to get it here for the first time ever. So
you mentioned it. I'm optimistic about the ownership group and what they're doing, the moves that they're doing.
Absolutely.
Hey, Nate, have you heard? Sports gambling is coming.
No, man, I've been up under a rock, man. I kind of missed all the commercials and everything.
Listen, it is coming. Monday at noon, you will legally be allowed to place a bet on your device, whether it's FanDuel, DraftKings, ESPN Bet, Catawba 2 Kings, whoever it may be. It goes live in North Carolina at noon on Monday. And it's a big day for us at the Point After as well on Monday because we got to learn, Nate.
Oh, yeah.
We got to learn. We got to learn.
I know absolutely nothing about gambling at all. So we're going to have somebody in here on Monday to kind of give us a gambling 101 type deal. So this is going to be very beneficial, I know for myself, but for a lot of folks because not everybody knows gambling. They want to see what this phenomenon is about. All these commercials on my TV. I don't know anything about this. Well, we're going to help you out with some pointers and things of that nature from a special guest on Monday.
That's right. BetCarolina.com insider is coming to teach us exactly what is an over, what is an under, what is a prop bet, and most importantly, in my opinion, how do you gamble responsibly?
Absolutely.
How do you make the game fun responsibly? Because you got to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to bet your. I'm gonna put my mortgage on. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Come on now.
We're gonna. You have to do it responsibly and we're going to help you out with that as well.
That's right. Pull up a chair. We'll all be learning on Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, time for our final thoughts, and I want to start with Charlotte FC on the pitch. All right, we got 7 teams right now. 7 teams with 4 points in that bottleneck of 4 points at the very, very young season. Charlotte FC is one of them. This weekend is going to start to separate, okay, who really should have a loss, maybe got lucky and has a win and a draw or whatnot. They play against Toronto on the road. I love the acquisition of Lille Abada from the Scottish top flight, the Celtics. I think that's going to be a great acquisition. He's put 51 goals in net in 112 appearances. I think that I mentioned last episode, I wanted a little more oomph, a little more offensive firepower. He may be that push. He's young. He's only 22 years old. So I think that's going to be key. And hey, call me the ultimate optimist, but hey, we go on this thing right now. Their MLS Power Rankings has them ranked as the 11th team. It is 3 weeks in as the 11th team.
Can we get a 2-shot? Can we get a 2-shot?
The 11th team, Nate, we're 3 weeks in.
Come on.
Listen, I'm optimistic.
Come
we're
on.
3 weeks in. Hey, the Dean Smith era at least is starting off right. And if we can go in this 2-1-0 or even 1-2-0, I'm going to be out here dancing. I'm telling you what.
Look,
why need a winner? Everybody can't be losing.
It's way too early.
Everybody can't be losing.
They're still shaping this team right now.
Right.
So, and the pickup on yesterday,
it's huge.
You're spot on. He's going to create some excitement. He's going to create some goals, and that's what they really need. They're playing some great defense. They need to score goals, and he's going to come in and he's going to electrify this offense. So I do like that pickup for them, and just like I said, it's going to take some time for him to get in and get. We're not going to see the best Charlotte FC team until the summer. So that's why I'm like, let's just pump your brakes. Let's look at this in June and July. And then we'll know exactly what his team is. But if you can stack the wins right now as you're still developing,
that's what it is.
When you hit that, when you hit the summer, it's like, oh,
yes,
oh.
Because then you can buy yourself some losses.
Exactly.
Then you can buy yourself a little cushion. Exactly. Then you say, okay, I can buy myself a little cushion. Yeah. All right, my next final thought, and I think we share this, is I am ready. I am ready for July the 20th because there's my camera. Here we go. All right. Jake Paul taking on Mike Tyson on Netflix. Remember, the Pacquiao-Floyd Mayweather fight had 4.5 million pay-per-view buys. Netflix globally has 260 million subscribers. This is put on by MVP Promotions. The Jake and Logan Paul brothers helped put this all together. Look, you can say whatever you want about them, but one thing that they're not is they're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. Now, I say that carefully, because he's also walking into a ring with Iron Mike Tyson. I don't care if he's 58 years young. I don't care if Mike Tyson is not in his best shape that he was before. It's still Iron Mike. So listen, if you're going to kick rocks with open-toe shoes, you better be careful, because Mike might lay him out. I don't care if he's 58. He's going to lay him out. All right, I'm in.
Look, the dude... Yeah, he's 57.
When the fight comes, he's going to be 58.
Oh, my God.
There we go. I know.
But you've seen the videos of Mike working out.
Bro, I don't care if he's 70. I'm not jumping in a ring with Mike Tyson.
Jake Paul is 27 years old.
Yeah.
And he decided, I'm not going to take anything away from the Paul brothers. They're very smart. Very smart men. They're making a lot of money and successful at fighting still. A lot of them are like, oh, man, he's not fighting any real people. I don't care who you're fighting. If you knock them out and you can win the fight, it's a fight. You're winning. This might be a bit much. You fighting off a little bit more than you can chew.
Yeah.
Mike is still got it. And
yeah.
I don't know how many rounds this thing is going to be.
It's going to be an extra. Let's be clear. It's not a real fight. This is going to be an exhibition. No, I'm saying in terms of what you're going to write it down in a card, a win or loss for a belt. No. This is an exhibition. It's just like Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather when Logan Paul couldn't even hit him because you're fighting arguably the best defensive boxer of all time. Now you have the other brother fighting arguably the most lethal boxer of all time. I'm telling you what, they're intelligent because they're going to make a ton of money. So I give them a ton of credit. Intelligence on that end. But on the other end of jumping in the ring with Mike Tyson, I don't care if he's 75. I am not jumping in the ring with Mike Tyson.
You're begging for it.
No.
You be careful what you ask for. You just might get it.
I'm telling you.
Mike still look like he can knock somebody the blank out.
Yeah.
And somebody might be blanked out after this fight. I'm looking forward to it. I used to be a big fight fan. I can't even tell you who the world heavyweight champion is right now. I've lost all interest in fighting. This is actually making me want to watch a fight again. That's a sad statement about boxing when I got to go see a retired dude who hadn't fought in years get back in the ring, and that makes me want to watch boxing again. It's like
it's a show.
What are y'all doing, guys?
It's a show.
I mean, boxing, y'all need to get it together, dog. I don't know who the world champ is in the heavy. I don't even know who. Tyson Fury is the only one. The only fighter I know that's a heavyweight. Even the smaller weight classes. I mean, I know there's still good fighters out there, but boxing has done this to themselves. The best fighters have never fought each other. Or they don't fight each other. It's just. It's a shame that I have to watch Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson has to come back for me to get excited about a boxing match.
And let me piggyback off that. This could be the opportunity. Netflix, this is going to be streamed.
Yes.
It has 260 million subscribers. So, yes, it's not a real fight, but it's Mike Tyson, and he might lay out Jake Paul, or the greatest upset of all time, Jake Paul lays out Iron Mike. That will never happen.
No, he's not going to lay him out. It might go to distance. It might go to the distance of the fight. But he ain't knocking Mike Tyson out. Look, I'll put some money on the fact that Mike Tyson is going to knock him out before Paul knocks out Mike Tyson. It's not going to happen.
I got a guy who's going to teach you and me how to do that on Monday. How about that? Speaking of which, let's get to Monday. Make sure you don't miss the point after Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Sports gambling goes live then at noon. We'll be just an hour in and we'll be learning.
Absolutely. We'll see you on Monday at 1 o'clock on all the streaming platforms that you watch the show, as well as WBTV.com and the WBTV News app. We'll see you Monday.
See ya.